fluid encapsulated within the layers covering the lungs is known as. So we know that this question is discussing fluid that's within the lung space, the layers of the lungs. And if we look at the choices, it's describing all different types of fluid, but there's different words that we could use to help us figure out which one is related to the lungs and which ones are discussing fluid from other parts of the body. So option A is cerebral spinal fluid. So we know that cerebral has to do with the brain, and the spine is the spinal part, cerebral spinal fluid. So this is the type of fluid that we see between the arachnoid and the plial meninges of the brain. So it has to do with the brain and the nervous system going down the spinal cord. So this is what you would see in the spinal cord and what you would see in the brain. So not what we're looking for when we're talking about layers covering the lungs. So we can eliminate option A. Option B is pericardial fluid. So if you see the cardial part, you should think cardiac or heart, and then peri means surrounding. So the fluid surrounding the pericardial area, which is not what we're looking for because we're discussing in this question the lungs. So therefore we can eliminate option B as well. Option C is pleural fluid, and when you hear pleural, you might think the pleural space, and these pleural spaces are related to the layers known as the pleura, which encapsulate lungs. And this pleural fluid is helpful to prevent injury to the lungs themselves. So pleural fluid, if you've heard of the phrase pleural effusion, which relates to the lungs as well, maybe sounds slightly like pulmonary, to help you remember that pleural relates to lungs, which is what this question is asking us to find, the fluid covering the layers of the lungs. So option C would be correct. For option D, when you see interstitial fluid, you might also think of the interstitial spaces, which is the space outside of the cells and the blood vessels, so the area just surrounding this section of the body. And the interstitial fluid would be the fluid that lines in these spaces. Now, for this question, we're looking for the layers of the lungs, the fluid covering the lungs. So the interstitial fluid would not be what we are looking for because this is the area outside of cells and blood vessels. So we would eliminate option D. And our initial choice, option C, the pleural fluid, would be the correct answer.